Dalvin Cook, who's a talented running back. Shameful that he didn't have a deal and the Vikings let him go. I mean, just absolutely shameful. But he signed a deal with the Jets today, right? A one-year contract, $8 million apparently, up to $8 million, $7 million guaranteed carry. He joins Aaron Rodgers and a slew of all these other guys who the Jets have commandeered on this roster. And the Jets, of course, last year won 7 games, didn't make the playoffs. Right. And, I mean, you want to talk about hype. There's so much hype about the Jets. I mean, everywhere you go, oh, they're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, they got this. Oh, they got that. And I'm here to tell you, people in New York, pull the radio close to you and listen to what I'm about to tell you.
Slow down, Rob. Slow down.
Don't make the same mistake that you made going into the baseball season. Don't believe the hype. Don't buy into the idea that the Jets keep adding players and, oh, my God, they got a dream team and they're getting to the Super Bowl. I'm here to tell you, paper doesn't win jack. The roster doesn't win a thing. The New York Jets could wind up being the New York Mets. You smell that? That's the Mets season. Everybody thought a year ago after the Mets won 101 games and they added Justin Verlander, who was the American League Cy Young Award winner and comeback player of the year. The Mets are going to the World Series. Book it. They got $1 billion owner. He's spending money like never before. They just added a guy who won a World Series and was a Cy Young. They're going to the World Series. The Jets won 7 games last year with no quarterback. They add Aaron Rodgers, a 4-time MVP. Of course. They added all of his friends, the wide receivers from everywhere. Aaron Rodgers gave $35 million back. And now they added Dalvin Cook. Oh, my God. The Jets are headed to the Super Bowl. Pump your brakes. Pump them.
Rob.
It ain't etched in stone. Let me finish. Done? I'm not done. Here are the reasons why, Kerry. And you play for this team. The Jets aren't the best team automatically in the AFC East. Buffalo's still there. Miami's really good. And in the AFC overall, look at all the teams in the way. Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. How about the Chargers? How about the Ravens and Lamar? I mean, are you kidding me? You really believe that this is going to happen, especially when last year no one expected anything from the Jets, and this year with all the hype and all the talk, people will be ready to face the Jets and their hard-ass schedule. Kerry Rhodes, for the final time, the New York Jets could easily wind up to being the New York Mets.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Are you done? All right. Since Rob got that soliloquy done, and I understand the pausing, the pumping of the brakes, I hear you. A lot of the stuff you said was true, right? It's a hard conference. They got a lot of guys they're putting together in a short span of time that they have to get some reps and get together and get that camaraderie going. But as a Jet stan, and I'll say that perfectly clear and fine and stand by that, being a part of the organization for a long time, it's been a long time. There's been no hype around this team for at least 10 years now. The hype is real right now. You bring in an MVP Hall of Fame quarterback to a team that, if they had him last year, they would have been in the playoffs and they would have had a chance to compete. They bring him to the mix. You got the young guys, Garrett Wilson. You just signed Dalvin Cook. And that's the part that people aren't really paying attention to right now. That defense is going to be so good this year. And so you'll talk about the hard schedule. You talk about the first 4 games that they have and falling behind the falling behind the bullet early on and having to get through that time. The defense is going to carry those guys in the first couple of games. It's going to give Aaron Rodgers and the offense some time to click and gel. And once they do that, this team is as dangerous as any team in the league. And I'm not scared of Buffalo anymore. Buffalo's kind of seem like they are coming down. They got issues in the locker room with their star players. So I see that team going down. Miami, good team on paper. Their quarterback can't stay healthy, so not worried about them as well. I mean, you got Burrows, you got Mahomes and those guys, but you got to beat them to get there anyway. So the Jets are the real deal. They got a real chance to be good. The Jet faithful should be proud, and they should be excited about the team they got this year. And so we're not pumping the brakes. We're all gas over here, Rob. We're not pumping the brakes at all.
I hear you. But can I say you just got a Hall of Fame quarterback, right?
Yes, sir.
They did that before. His name was Brett Favre.
I played on that team.
Okay, you remember that.
I do.
When he had his
that.
own locker room where he got dressed by himself.
He did do that.
I mean,
but
horrible.
Aaron's not doing that.
No,
Aaron's
I'm just saying.
in.
Okay.
Yep. And on that team with us when Brett came in, we were 9-3 at one point, and we had just beat Tennessee to beat the number one.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And then you guys went south.
He got hurt.
Yeah, all right.
We didn't just go south. Brett got hurt and didn't report that he was hurt, and so we went downhill. But we had a chance.
Here's the other thing. You guys act like the Jets had Rex Ryan. They went to 2 AFC championship games. That wasn't 40 years ago.
It was 10-11. That's a long time in football.
But it wasn't 40 years ago. People are acting like that.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing that I'm concerned about, and you should be concerned. Last year with that defense,
yep,
out of nowhere, can you get repeat performances? Like, it's one thing when people don't expect you coming, all right? And you're like, it's like the Lions to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all the hype about the Lions as well.
Yep.
Like, you started 1-6, so people just tuned you out, and then you won 7, 8 games in a row and turned your season around.
Right.
Right? Because nobody took you seriously.
Right.
You're not surprising anybody when the Jets come to town with Aaron Rodgers on that team, are you?
No, but you don't need to be surprised. You got the man that you wanted. A guy that has won a Super Bowl, a guy that was an MVP just a couple of years ago.
He won back-to-back. I get it.
Exactly. This isn't somebody that's new to any of this. I mean, obviously he's new to the big city in New York and what that expectations is, but he's always had expectations.
And if they start out 0-2 or 0-3, is it going to be the honeymoon and party we got going?
Absolutely not.
Okay, you already know. You played there.
Absolutely not.
And that's the other thing, that if you don't get off to the right start,
right,
it could turn quickly. Like, this is really, and like you say, the schedule's tough.
Right.
But I'm just warning people, be careful. Paper's one thing, and Kerry, I get it. You think you add Aaron Rodgers and Dalvin Cook, you add water, you stir, and you got a championship. Yeah. It is way harder than that. Way harder. Aaron Rodgers, with all the great years he played, right, in Green Bay, and all the numbers he put up, they were bad. They get in the playoffs. Defense let him down, give up 40 points. Am I right? Like,
yes.
There are all kinds of things that can happen. He lost 3 playoff games where he never even touched the ball in overtime.
Exactly. Not even given the chance to do it. Yeah,
I mean, so there are those moments where he tied the game, the other team gets the kickoff, they march it down, and the game's over.
Yeah.
And you don't even get that. So there's all these other pitfalls that could happen. And the AFC is just, to me, it's one thing if this was the NFC, but the AFC is loaded with talented young quarterbacks. One day, maybe the Chargers will get it right, and their coach won't hurt them, as much as he has.
I agree.
I mean, he's cost them so many games the last couple of years with just doing boneheaded things like he's playing Madden.
The analytic stuff.
Right. Like, on a 4th and 4 on your 22, and you go for, like put your defense in a bad position and moments like that. But anyway, I watching what just happened with the Mets, because I was all in on them, and I thought when they got Verlander, again, they won 101.
Right.
So you just figure they got 2 studs. They had Taijuan Walker, who went to the Phillies, who's having a great year. They had Marcus Stroman a couple years ago, and they let him go. Mm-hmm. And now those guys, you would have wished to have had them this year, with Scherzer, and instead you had 2 older guys. God forbid Aaron Rodgers doesn't get hurt. That's the other thing. As an older quarterback, that's a scary situation that could derail things if he gets hurt for any kind of time.
Right.
Will they be good? Yes. Will they be competitive? Yes. I'm not saying this is going to be a bust and nothing good's going to happen and they won't make the playoffs. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, the chances of the Jets being the Mets is real, whether people want to believe it or not.
Well, Rob, what I just heard from you right now is your stance, you being all in with the Mets, that kind of backfired, right? So I want you to be all out against the Jets, and that may turn it around. That might help us a little bit. Stay there. Stay on that side, Rob.
And then I'm going to give you a couple of things, right? Obvious. The offensive line, Jets left tackle, Dwayne Brown.
Yeah.
37 years old, currently on the PUP list. Okay? They don't even know who their right tackle is. What's his name? Becton?
Mekhi, yep.
Yeah, Mekhi Becton. He's coming off 2 knee surgeries. And then their best lineman, Vera Tucker, is coming off torn tricep.
Yeah.
You got to protect Aaron Rodgers. My God. If I'm a D coordinator, go to the house. Go get him. Hey, Buddy Ryan on line 1. They said bounty.
Oh, my God.
And you know what I'm saying?
I do. I know that they would know that. So, I mean, I'm sure they're very aware of that, of exactly what you're saying right now. And they'll have a game plan to let those guys settle into their roles and get better at it. And they're not going to have him dropping back 7-yard drops and taking hits. They'll be smart about it.